Okie dokie. Time to stop dragging this one out. We had reached the final day of the retreat, and I woke up late. Some folks didn't even bother waking up to come in, which makes sense. Karaoke takes a toll. Though I knew I was too late to attend the session, I came anyway because I wanted to say some goodbyes. I knew I wouldn't be seeing a lot of these people for the rest of the day. Folks hung around for handshakes, hugs, and a picture with Jeff, if they wanted. The fighting was over, but there was still some fun to be had. The fellas and I spent the bulk of the day at Crescent Mall, a huge shopping and dining complex in downtown Saigon. Of course, no mall visit is complete without a bite to eat. We stopped off at this bistro, sat down for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I absolutely tore up this lasagna, but look how pretty it was before I did. Afterwards, Jeff and Kwok made their way to the airport, and we all said our goodbyes. As you can see, this place is huge and there was a lot to explore, but Arturo had one place in particular on his mind. The Crescent Mall's massive indoor bouldering gym called the Crescent Wall. Hey. Nice. Save. Almost there. Yep. Top out. Nice. Flash. I'm less than a novice when it comes to climbing, so I guess I wasn't up to it today, but looking back, I wish I'd tried. Our next brief stop was this really cool thrift store that I wound up copping a few items from before I left. Then we made our way back to the hotel where it was time for another goodbye, since Turo and Aldo had to make their way to the airport. Later that evening, a group of us went to see the AO Players at the Saigon Opera House, and the show they put on was spectacular. It was like Cirque du Soleil times a million, as far as I'm concerned. The cast was also nice enough to take photos and videos with the audience members afterwards. On our way out of the show, we had to survive a little bit of a monsoon, but we were able to find a nice Japanese-style restaurant to have dinner. The next morning, I returned to Saigon Sports Club for breakfast. Thanks. Then it was back to the hotel for another goodbye to Brandon and his two enormous suitcases. Military-grade hardware you got over there. After that, it was pretty much just me and Ronald, and he had his own things planned, so I took a trip to the War Remnant Museum. All of the filming I did here was on the outside. If I had to summarize my emotional state after going through that museum, it would be sober. I would 100% recommend anyone who finds themselves in Vietnam go to this museum. The perspective they give on the war is necessary viewing, in my opinion. Back to the hotel one final time where this curious little kid, who probably had never seen a black person before, watched me eat pizza. And then it was time for me to head to the airport. I was in this strange emotional liminality where, although this was definitely not my home and I did not know anybody here, I felt like I was leaving somewhere familiar. I'd gotten to know it, at least enough to navigate the few blocks around the hotel. This was a detachment, for sure. My flight out of Saigon was delayed, but I maintained my patience because I knew I had a nice 4.5-hour layover waiting for me in Tokyo on the way back. Now, I'm not going to share too much of this footage because I really don't want to extend this any longer than I have to, but I was able to enjoy some of my time between flights in Japan. Definitely enough to make me want to go back. I wish I could say my next flight was directly home, but for some strange reason, we had to stop off in Maryland.
I just passed by an Auntie Anne's, which is not even a place I eat at for real, but the smell of all that processed sugar, it revived me like Bane taking a hit of venom. Welcome home, boys.
It's hard to describe just how arduous this was and how ready I was to be in my home. Never have I been as grateful to see LaGuardia Airport as I was this day. So after a grueling 24 hours of travel, I was finally on my own 2 feet in front of my elevator in my building, ready to lay down in my bed.
Hi, doggy. I've been to so many strange places.
So, what did I take away from all of this? I guess the biggest thing is what you're looking at. These 8 episodes worth of footage from the most incredible trip I've ever taken. I've thought about doing YouTube in a bunch of different ways over the years. This is one of the first that feels like it fits, combining my passion for martial arts with my genuine interest in culture and other people, and using it as a platform to share my own development and highlight some really dope folks along the way. Obviously, for the people with whom I shared this trip, I hope this can be a long-lasting memento for y'all, for us. And then going forward, I do have ideas for what I'd like to do with this channel. I learned techniques and tactics in Vietnam. I was incredibly fortunate and blessed to train with the people I trained with and to learn from Jeff. But I also was compelled to face some things about myself, to discover the ways in which I might be selling myself short or letting myself slide. No more of that. I think I've been training too much with other people in mind, and considering some of the aspirations I have for myself moving into 2025 and beyond, that has to shift. I'm certainly not perfect. Now it's time to put that realization into action. And hopefully I can share some of the ups and downs of that process with you all on this channel. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you did watch. I'm the Martial Tourist. The journey continues.